Welcome to the podcast, brought to you by the team at Vegan Food and Living, the UK's best-selling vegan magazine. Today, we're going to be talking about non-vegan fruit. Yes, that's a thing. Steps forward in animal welfare. We're going to be reviewing some interesting new supermarket launches, as always, and chatting to Generation Vegan about diversity and inclusion within the movement. Oh, I so need coffee today. How are you doing? It was Cherry's birthday this week, wasn't it?
Instead of a birthday cake, I made him a Colin the Caterpillar vegan sausage roll.
Oh, cute. I love that.
It was horrendous. Like, it looked traumatizing.
Oh, why?
Because his face was like melting. His eyes were like going. It looked like a deflated Thomas the Tank.
Though a savoury cake, that is something I can get on board with.
It didn't taste very nice. I obviously from my burger taste test, I had loads of burgers left over. So I was like, whack some of that in, whack some mince in. And it was just a pile of meat wrapped in pastry.
Vegan meat, obviously.
Vegan meat, obviously. But yeah, Colin.
Like a Halloween version of Colin or something.
A sad version, bless him. But we didn't even eat him because he just didn't taste very nice. So
bless you.
I know.
Are you having a good summer though? Apart from that,
how's your life? Yes, all right. Just making horrible caterpillar. I don't know if we can call it a cake, pastries.
Oh, I've had such a good summer. I've just been loving it, and just such nice weather. You're off to Shambala, aren't you?
Oh my God, I am going tomorrow. When this goes out, I will be on the coach to Shambala.
I'm so jealous. How far is it from you then? Is it quite a trek?
I don't know.
It's
Northampton.
Yeah.
Where's Northampton?
Oh my God, you're terrible at geography.
I know. Where is it? How do you need to know? I'm not driving.
Did you get to Devon all right?
I didn't drive, but yeah, it was fine. It did take us 5 hours though. Oh my God, Devon was so nice. I need to talk about Devon for like a quick hot sec because oh my God, so nice. Sea swimming in the morning. Everyone needs to do it. I know everyone hasn't got a sea by them, but if you have got a sea by you, go and swim in it in the morning.
Yeah, because... there's Lidos and there's like I think there's like my friend goes, she lives just outside of Bristol and there's like a quarry. I mean, I'm not saying people should swim in like quarries because some of them are really unsafe, but there's one that's sort of properly managed. And there's so many different places you can swim outdoors and it's so good for you, isn't it? It's such a buzz.
Oh my God. I've really, really gotten into it this summer and now I'm like hooked. I want to get like sea shoes because my thing is when you're walking in like the sea or in the river or whatever barefoot and you feel something that you don't know what it is and then that's when you start to get freaked out. That's when I start to get freaked out.
I'm the same. It's like is it a jellyfish or a crab?
Is it a rat's tail? Am I going to die? Anyway, so I need to get some shoes, some sea shoes or river shoes, whatever, and then I'm good to go. But sea swimming and the sea in Devon, oh my God, it was so nice. Apart from obviously the water or sewage people down there have started just emptying the sewages into the rivers, which is
no, not nice.
It was disgusting, but thankfully the surrounding beaches were affected, but our beach wasn't. And it was like I was standing sort of in the sea up to my hips and I could see my feet like clear as day. It was mad. I've never been in the sea that clear.
It's so clear down here as well, and it was in Cornwall. I love it when you can just see the bottom and it's like, oh, there's nothing there, it's all fine.
I don't have to freak out.
We did so much swimming in Cornwall because it obviously had the heat wave, but it's so addictive, isn't it? You're like, I want to do it again.
I know, I love it, and it's so good for my skin as well. The eczema really clears up after going in the sea for a bit. Obsessed.
It's like the minerals, isn't it, in the salt water. So you're off to Shambala. I was just looking up about it, just surprised by its eco credentials. It's meat and fish free, no Coca-Cola or Nestle on site. Incredible. I mean, it's putting Glastonbury to shame.
I know, it puts his money where his mouth is.
No, only plant-based milk served for hot drinks, only UK and European fruit and veg, only fair trade tea, coffee and drinks. It's
No plastic. All of the, if you want a hot drink, you have to bring your own mug or like a reusable like coffee cup or whatever. It's I'm really, really excited. This is my first time going. My boyfriend and his friends go all the time, and it's such a good low-key festival. There's a lake, and like woodland areas. Everyone just kind of goes around in the afternoons and just kind of like has a little bit of a wander. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
So many good festivals now in the UK, isn't there, that you don't need to go to these ones with like all the big headline acts and stuff. It's just, there's so much more to it than just like music.
My mum went to a festival. She come back this weekend from one actually, and it was an 80s festival. Again, I don't know where she went. But it was like Frankie Goes to Hollywood was headlining, and who else was headlining?
The actual Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Holly Johnson.
Oh my god, yes, because now it's I clicked it because my mum was like, Holly Johnson's there. It's like, no, she's not.
Yeah, I did a quick guest appearance, Molly, trying to spread the word of veganism whilst I
that's I was like, well, she didn't tell me that, so yeah. So Holly Johnson was there,
brilliant,
and some other 80s people that I'm not too sure of. Something called Chesney. Don't know who Chesney is.
Chesney Hawkes.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, he was big in the 80s. Yeah. That's funny.
So funny. But yeah, she's just come back from there. But as you said, there's just so many sort of like underground ones that you don't have to be going to festivals that are like 100,000 people deep, you know?
Yeah. I ran just a quick random story. When I was at Camp Festival, I lost everyone, and my battery died on my phone, and I was with my son right at the front for like can't remember who it was now, but it's someone and then Rudimental, and it slowly got dark, and we were like, we'll just stay here and keep dancing. And I was next to this guy who was wearing this like red top hat. And his little girls were dressed up in like sort of braces, like sort of circus, you know, like a circus theme. They were so cute. And I ended up, because he was on his own with the two girls, I ended up sort of like giving them, putting them on my shoulders and stuff. And we were all dancing. It was brilliant. Anyway, we're now following each other on Instagram, and he literally goes to all the festivals. He's been to Boomtown. He's been to like, he's going to Shambala, so I said I'll tell you to look out. Yeah, look out for his red top hat. And
okay, yeah. I'm going to be a cowgirl all weekend. I can't wait.
Are you? Oh, I love the fancy dress.
I know. I'm all out. I've really, really gone out this year. So yeah, cowgirl for one day. Another day, it's like game themes. So I was a little bit confused, but I'm going as Queen of Diamonds from the cards.
Oh, got it. Okay, brilliant.
And then the other days, yeah, I'm just wearing my normal clothes. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Oh, amazing. Well, if anyone's going to Shambala, make sure you hunt out Molly and say hello.
Maybe don't.
Or not. Just wear your big dark sunglasses.
It's not me.
Well, should we just chat about some of the topical vegan stories in the news at the moment? Because this Tesco fruit story is kind of blown up a bit, hasn't it? Varying headlines. Obviously, you can read about it on the Vegan Food and Living website. But the Guardian, why is it always vegans up in arms, vegans irate?
I know.
It just winds me up so much. It's like, you know, as if we're this bunch of sort of, I don't know, just getting upset over silly things, you know? It's like so frustrating.
I think this story in particular, though, it makes its rounds every year for some reason. I don't know why, but I mean, as people know, well, some people may not know, but it's predominantly waxed fruit, isn't it? That's covered in shellac, which is made from it's the excretion of a lac bug.
Yeah.
Which essentially these lac bugs crawl on bark or whatever, and then they excrete this serum, whatever, and then they shave it off, and then that becomes the shellac, and then they wax, cover the fruit with it, and it sort of prevents it from going off as long as the life of it, and it makes it shiny, whatever. But this isn't anything new. Like, people know about this. And interestingly, when we shared the story on our socials, a lot of vegans were like, this isn't anything new. Like, this is old news. People know about this. So I kind of feel like it's one of those stories that maybe like anti-vegan headliners or whatever, they kind of pull it out once in a while to be like stirring it up again, sort of creating this anti-vegan voice.
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe that's what it is. But I think a lot of, if you're new to veganism, you'd never think that like your citrus fruits would be covered in something that's, come from an animal or an insect.
Yeah, exactly. But why? Like, why? It's just, I understand maybe the sort of to increase the shelf life of it, and if it's transported and whatever, like I do maybe understand that. But if it's just for cosmetic reasons to make it look shinier, whatever, that's just stupid.
Yeah, and there must be other products that they can use. I mean, in this day and age, there's so many alternatives.
I know. Well, Tesco have come out and said, haven't they, that they are looking for a new alternative. But again, I don't know if this is something, because I have definitely seen this story before last year, and it was the first time I saw it last year. And my colleague said to me, it's like they pull this out every other year. Like this isn't anything new. It's just sort of, as you say, something to just kind of hype up on this kind of anti-vegan voice, which is annoying.
I'm so over this whole anti-vegan business. I mean, we've moved on, haven't we? We're like literally the planet is like on fire.
Yeah. And why do you care what we like? Why are you like nitpicking it? Like, you're not going to have anything to nitpick if we don't bloody keep going on about it. And we're not even going on. You're the one that's bringing this stuff up, do you know? Yeah. It's like this whole like snowflake movement where it's just like, actually, maybe we're not the snowflakes. You're the one getting irate about things that just don't actually matter.
Well, the other story, which is really good, is Italy's banning the killing of male chicks.
Yes.
Because at the moment, it's between 25 and 40 million male chicks are killed in Italy alone. And they're killed within the first 24 hours after being born, and they're not like sort of stunned or anything. They're just kind of ground up or gassed, I think. So hideous, absolutely hideous. But they're going to invest in sort of sexing technology, aren't they? So that they, so that they can make sure that all the chicks are female. I mean, obviously not great. Ideally, they wouldn't be kind of breeding animals to lay eggs for people, at all, but at least it's a step forward. And I think, we just all need to follow suit, don't we? I've not really read this story. I think it came out over the weekend on their website, so I've not had a chance to look at it. But a similar thing happens with dairy, in the dairy industry with male cows, doesn't it? I think they are killed quite quickly, or I think they're just killed. It's heartbreaking. I mean, they take them away pretty swiftly from their mothers because the mums, they like are obviously taken off to be milked for humans. It's just tragic, and the cows cry for days for their babies, and often they're taken either transported for veal or killed, and it's just it's just hideous. And a lot of people I think still don't realize that about dairy, do they? Let's move on to our reviews for this week. So Squeaky Bean flatbreads. I thought these were pasties, but they're not. They're flatbreads, and they are bloody yummy. They're £2 at Tesco's, and there's a spicy madras chicken in inverted commas, and then there's a Jamaican jerk chicken. I think the spicy madras was my favorite. So Moorish. I was like,
I don't think I've tried these.
Yeah, I know you didn't get sent them. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. I just see who the favorite podcaster is.
I don't know what happened there. I did chase them for you, but get down to Tesco, Molly, and try them because they are really super yummy.
Are they sort of like patty kind of things? Have you ever had like a Jamaican patty?
Yes, they're a bit like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
delicious.
Yummy. And then we also tried a range from called Pimp My Salad, which I love. I think their taglines play with your food, and I think it's such a good thing for when you're vegan, because you do need to sort of enhance things, don't you? Like a salad can be the most boring thing on earth, or it can be the most delicious, like just to have so many things in it. Like this week I cooked up some quinoa on Monday, like a whole load, and I've been having that with like I made some black bean meatballs and like
Ooh,
slaw and radish. I just made like a load of stuff, and then
I
all week
love
I've been
that.
sort of mix and matching the salad ingredients.
That's the best thing about a salad, though. It's just like having the extra things. Like you
Yeah,
have the base, like your leaves, and then sort of selected vegetables or whatever. But then it's just like the added extras that you put
yeah,
in with it that just takes it to the next level. And I love it. I love salads. I hate that people don't like salads.
yeah. Well, I think if you don't like salad, then you kind of haven't had a proper salad, have you? Because it's just
Yeah, exactly.
and they do coconut bacon, cashew
Mm,
palm cheese, and activated superseed sprinkles. And these are available
yes.
at Holland and Barrett, Ocado, vegan kind of supermarket, and they're about £4 a pack. When I first went vegan, I was obsessed with making coconut bacon.
I've never tried it before.
Yeah, so you get the what are they called, like this coconut flakes, like the
I think so. They kind of
chips,
look like
coconut
little, yeah,
chips.
coconut chips. They kind of look like little half moon things, don't they?
Yeah, so you just marinate them in like something smoky, which could be like smoked paprika or liquid smoke or something, and then some
Mm,
tamari or soy sauce, and I think maybe some like agave or maple syrup, and then you just whack them in the oven. Keep an eye on them because they
mm.
will burn, but they just crisp up. And I was like amazed at this. Well, I was just like, I couldn't stop making it. I think everyone in my family was like, "Oh, more coconut bacon, Holly." I'm like, "Yeah, but
Yummy.
isn't it cool?"
It is so cool. I love that when you find something that you can make it with just like such not rogue ingredients, but just ingredients that you wouldn't think would make something like that. Similar to like rice paper bacon. I love that because that goes super, super crispy. But this coconut bacon was, yeah, it was good. I liked it. I've started putting it whenever I have avocado on toast. I sprinkle some of that
Oh,
on there. A little bit of hot sauce. So good.
that sounds lovely. Yeah, I didn't think to do that. Yeah, I
Mm.
mean, you could put it in a sandwich, couldn't you? Like do a sort of a BLT with it. Or yeah, just stick it on a salad with perhaps what goes well with bacon, something sort of
I always think avocado, bacon avocado,
yeah,
delicious.
yeah, you're right. I guess, or some like cheese or something.
Mm.
The super seed sprinkles are good because they're like quite chunky, so they add a
Yes,
nice
I like
crunch.
those. They weren't kind of like really, really small ones that get stuck in your teeth.
Yeah, yeah, they are annoying.
As much as I love seeds,
Yeah, I'm a bit obsessed with putting seeds on everything. If it doesn't have any crunch to it, I can't eat it
what's the point?
anymore.
Yeah, what is the point? I'm like that with pasta now. It has to have, although I tried to have pine nuts, but pine nuts are so expensive. So I have
Oh
sunflower
my
seeds.
God, we bought them the other day for a recipe. I was doing a Riverford recipe because I had like 5 courgettes again to use up. So I did this Riverford recipe with like butter beans and like a really nice dressing. It's on their website,
Mm.
and pine nuts. But yeah, the pack was like £5.
Aldi, go to Aldi to get them.
Yeah.
I think they're just under £2 for quite a big bag.
Oh, that's good. God, that's a
Yeah,
real difference.
I know, because they are so expensive.
Yeah.
The ones in Tesco, as you said, they're like £5. And
Yeah.
the bag isn't that big. It's sort of the really thin, sort of like Ziploc plastic bag, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I wonder how much it would be to get them at like your local health food shop. I'll have to do like a price comparison.
Price comparison, yeah.
Anyway, the other thing we tried was hip chocolate, which is like HIP, but the I's an exclamation
An
mark.
exclamation mark. It's very hard to type.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, whoa, it's upside down. But
Yeah, my brain.
this is a range of oat milk chocolate, and they've got some really yummy new flavors. They're
Mm,
£2.99 at Holland and Barrett. They've got a white chocolate berry crunch,
love that.
which is super, super sweet. But if that's your thing, you'll love it. And they've got a pretzel one, which I
Oh my
was
god, the pretzel one is my favorite.
I know, I was very
It
excited
is
about
so
that.
good. And
Yeah.
also the chocolate wasn't too sweet. I know the white chocolate was sweet, but the other ones they weren't that bad, but they were almost kind of more dark than milk chocolate,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
I
that's
loved.
definitely. Yeah. I've decided I don't really like milk chocolate anymore.
Oh, I had some Tony's the other day, the sea salt and almond one. Oh,
Oh, that's dark chocolate though, isn't it?
yeah, that's dark chocolate.
That is my absolute favorite chocolate.
Yeah.
And Ben and Jerry's.
I've seen this.
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's have teamed up with Tony's. So I've requested the vegan version, and I'm hoping it's that sea salt and almond one, because that would just be incredible.
It's only one ice cream that's vegan. The rest is dairy.
I know.
The chocolate bars aren't vegan.
No, I know.
Oh, sorry, I thought that's what you meant.
Oh, so it'll have to be that flavour, won't it? In Ben and Jerry's. So. Yeah.
I think so. But anyway, yeah, love that.
Delicious. I can't wait. I've got to stop licking my lips. People, a few friends have said, you're always
licking your lips.
What? With your tongue hanging out. I'm like, oh God.
Do they mean on the podcast? Or
no, I think just
in general.
In life. And I'm like, now I'm really conscious of it, that I'm always
no. Keep your tongue up, babes. You do you. You keep that tongue out.
You know, when you just, I don't know why I do it, but it's a thing now. So yeah, I need to keep an eye on that. Oh man, I am. Do you know what? I'm so over the school summer holidays now.
Oh, do you know what? I'm so happy I don't have kids. I'm so happy I don't have kids. So happy I do not have children. Oh, what do you do with them? What do you do with them for 6 weeks?
Well,
what have you been? Take them camping?
Basically, yeah. I mean, we went camping. I try and do something a day. So myself and a friend kind of do swapsies. So she will have them for a few hours, and then I'll have them the next day, and they'll just play here. Or, you know, they're like 10, 12 now, the boys, so they can go down to the park on their own and stuff. So it's not too bad, but it's just making sure he gets off his gaming, you know, at regular intervals. Tonight we're gonna like go bowling after work and just stuff like that. But he's decided he really wants to go for it with being a YouTuber, like every other child on the planet. And it's just constant, like, and he's doing all this stop motion and then uploading it to YouTube. So he keeps taking my phone, and I'm like,
oh God, literally takes you back to my little brother.
Yeah.
My mum would never have her own phone. Like, it would just be in my brother's hands.
I know. And they deliver it back all sticky and like literally like on, you know, 0 battery. And you're like, oh, cheers then. Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah,
the fingerprints, the finger marks all over the screen.
Yes!
Oh God, if that's not a contraception advert, I don't know what is.
I love it. I know. So I'm like, even though I really desperately don't want summer to be over, I'm kind of like, how many days left until school?
September is a lovely month though.
It is. And October now these days.
Yeah, global warming, baby.
So yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's pretty mild up until Christmas. It's after that it all sort of turns to shit in terms of the weather, isn't it? But anyway, well, I hope you have an amazing time at Shambala.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I can't wait to like just being a field and being Errol.
Yeah, send me some pictures. I want to see your outfits.
I will.
As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also send us your opinions. What do you think of the podcast? Is there anything you'd like to see new? We're going to be making some changes, mixing things up a bit. Obviously, we've got lots of exciting events coming up, like November, although we don't want to think about that, is Vegan Month, and we've got Christmas and Veganuary. So we're going to be just switching things up a bit. You can email us simplyvegan@anthem.co.uk. Next up, I'm speaking to Kate Fowler from Generation Vegan, formerly $1 Million Vegan, and we're talking about diversity in the vegan community. Such a good chat.
I can't wait to listen to it.
It's definitely an important topic that I think we all need to be, bringing to the conversation a lot more.
Completely. I think it's one that's often sort of forgotten about and not, as you say, brought to light. So yeah, can't wait to listen.
Hey Molly, how does 8-free vegan craft beers sound?
It sounds like music to my ears, but I also feel like you're pranking me.
I'm not, I promise. So this is what the world's most popular craft beer club, Beer 52, are offering.
Okay, I'm listening. Tell me more.
Well, all you have to do is go to beer52, that's the number 52.com/vegan food, and cover $5.95 for postage.
This sounds all too good, Holly. What's the catch? Come on, you're having me on.
There isn't one, I promise. Basically, they source the best vegan craft beers from around the world, and then they send them to their club members along with vegan snacks, yum, and a magazine all about beer. There's no catch, there's no minimum commitment, and you can cancel or pause at any time.
Okay, I'm in. Sign me up, baby.
Shall we try some?
My can's already open.
Love it.
Which ones have you tried? I'm loving all of these colourful packagings.
Me too. They're so colourful. I've got a pineapple one. It's really refreshing. I just love fruity beers. How about you?
Mine's a citrusy IPA. It's like summer in a can, baby. So much nicer than these bland beers you often get in supermarkets. Cheers, my love.
Delicious. Cheers. Don't forget that's beer52.com/vegan food to claim your free case. Stick around for this week's interview with Generation Vegan, talking about diversity and inclusion in the vegan movement. Kate, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you on. I'm really excited to chat to you. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
So you're part of Generation Vegan, which was formerly $1 Million Vegan, which we'll get to in a minute. But I'm really excited to talk about representation and diversity in the vegan community. I think it's such an important conversation and often one that we're not actually really having. I think people are often afraid to speak up, aren't they? So yeah, it'll be good to kind of get into that in a moment. But let's start with talking about, so how was $1 Million Vegan founded and what was it all about?
Well, we were never really an organisation. We were launched as a flash campaign, and it was a bold and audacious campaign to offer the Pope $1 million for charity if he'd go vegan for Lent. And it wasn't kind of plucked out of the air. You know, Pope Francis had taken his name Francis because of the connection with being an animal lover. He talked a lot about climate change, about our duty and our responsibility to the earth. And so he was saying all the right things, but he was eating all the wrong things. And so we thought we could potentially get him to address this. And if he did address it, then the Catholic population around the world is immense. And that's 1 billion people, I think, something like that. So it would be huge. But at the same time, we kind of knew he probably wouldn't take this challenge. But we could still use that to get headlines around the world. And even just 3 years ago when we launched it, people weren't really talking about climate change in connection to our diet. And so what we wanted to do was make that connection. So people maybe for the first time thought, actually, there is something I can do about climate change. Because I think we all feel disempowered at times. And I can do it right now. And I can do it 3 times a day. And it's quite easy for lots of people, not everybody. And so we wanted to really have that conversation. And we did that. We got, I think, about 1,000 headlines around the world. And we were starting that conversation. And we did get close with Pope Francis. We got to the Vatican, we met with his right-hand man, we got the Pope's blessing. What we didn't get was a vegan Pope.
Yeah, it's so annoying. I mean, why? Because it wasn't asking him to go vegan forever, was it? It was only a short time. Why would he not do it?
He didn't say that he didn't do it. He didn't say that he did do it, and he didn't claim the money. It's interesting, just recently he came out and really encouraged the younger generation to reduce their meat consumption for the planet. He is aware of these issues, but I think like lots of people who are aware, they don't always walk the walk. It can be frustrating, but there's lots of barriers to going vegan, and a lot of them are psychological. A lot of them are fear of failure or fear over loss of identity or loss of culture or loss of tradition. And lots more. So I don't know why he never explained himself to us.
Perhaps worrying about sort of upsetting people and alienating himself from people, I guess. It's very frustrating, isn't it? It was also Donald Trump, wasn't it, that you...
Oh, we never say his name out loud.
I love that.
It's like Voldemort. If you say it, he only gets stronger. We did challenge the former president to go vegan for a month for January as part of a Make America Healthy Again campaign. And so we'd done so well with the first campaign that we weren't really expected to continue. It was a once only deal sort of thing. And but it went so well, we thought we'd have another roll of that dice. And so we did challenge the former president. And it was obviously more America focused. And what we really wanted to do with that campaign was reach a different demographic again. So obviously it's not quite easy to reach people who are already into issues about planet health and personal health and animal welfare and animal rights and so on. It's much harder to reach people who are not really plugged into those kinds of conversations. So we really focused on the more Republicans in America. We focused on blue collar workers, on military, on veterans, on people who might not be seen as typically vegan. And we got lots of people to tell their stories, lots of guys predominantly who'd been former hunters or who worked on railroads or who did different kind of manual work or military work. And they told their stories about how they'd gone vegan. And so we really wanted to sort of open up that conversation. And so we felt it was successful. We didn't get a response from the Trump, Donald, the Trump, whichever. But what we did do is find out later, I don't know if you remember, there was a little follow-up ripple where his chief of staff wrote a book, and it came out last year. And in it, she wrote that she had asked the president to do this challenge. And he said, I can't say everything he said, but he said he wouldn't do it because he couldn't afford to lose a brain cell. Otherwise, the country would be ruined, which is hilarious in 1,000 different ways. But yeah, but still, we made those headlines, which was what we wanted, I suppose, to get conversations around health and to break down some of that masculinity issue around veganism, that guys don't do it, which of course is not true.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can imagine he's quite heavily funded by the meat and dairy industry, so he probably wouldn't want to go down that road, would he? So Generation Vegan. So why have you kind of rebranded? I mean, I love the logo, by the way. I was watching the little launch video and people are getting the logo tattooed. And I was thinking, oh, I've not got a tattoo. And I actually really like it. Shall I get it done?
Definitely do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we really feel that Generation Vegan is a lot more inclusive. So we feel that it's almost in public ownership, that anybody who believes in a kinder world, a better world, a healthier, safer, more compassionate, more just, more equal world is part of this generation. It's not an age thing. It's not a demographic thing. It's everybody who believes in something better is part of it. You don't have to be a perfect vegan. You don't have to be perfect anything. I mean, there is no perfect vegan. It's just something that's a lot more inclusive. So get the tattoo. We'll definitely endorse that. But it came out of lockdown, really. It came out of the pandemic, where we were all set up to do a $3 million campaign. And we'd sort of got ideas in the pot and we were working on it. And obviously these things are pretty big. I mean, these global campaigns take a long time. And so we were working on it. And then COVID came along and it felt really wrong to be offering somebody who's obviously already got money $1 million when people were losing their jobs, were struggling to put food on the table. It just wasn't the right time and it wasn't the right way to go about things. And so we decided to do what we could do to support people, which was to engage in food justice and food solidarity work. And that kind of changed everything for us, because we stopped telling people what we thought and what we knew about the world. And we started sharing food and breaking bread with people and talking to them and hearing their perspectives. And it was really humbling. And it was shocked us that we hadn't done it sooner, but I guess that's not what we were set up to do. And so we started to change at that point, really. We started to understand more from different communities of their struggles, of their work within their own communities to become empowered, to fight injustices and oppressions. And so it all started to kind of fall into place. And at the same time, I think George Floyd uprisings were happening. And obviously, like many people, we felt probably that we should have been having these conversations sooner. But like you said, you don't always know how to begin them and you don't want to get it wrong. And so sometimes you don't do anything instead of trying to do something. So these things all sort of came together and we started to change just organically, really. And we knew by the end of the pandemic, when we'd shared 1 million meals around the world with lots of different communities, we knew that we had changed, that we were going to be different going forward. So Generation Vegan was born out of that, really.
I love that story. I think, food connects us all, doesn't it? Whatever sort of race we are, whatever background, we all need to eat, and it's something that brings communities and families and friends together.
Yeah.
You've been doing some work with some well-known bloggers, haven't you? And I love the Instagram little reels. So should we first talk about Christopher Eubanks? So he's like an activist, is that right?
So Christopher Eubanks works across many social justice issues, fighting oppressions, and veganism is part of that. He's a really interesting and engaging person. We love working with him, and he's written a blog for us, which is really going to be worth a read. And he's done some films for us too. Because one of the things we were really interested in was looking at the colonialist legacy of food imposition. So we kind of talk about colonialism as if it's in the past, but of course it's not. The worst aspects of it may have happened 200 years ago or longer. But actually, these things don't go away. The systems that are set up and in place continue to have an impact. And it really came to our attention when we talked to Dr. Kim Williams, and he talks about heart disease being rife in the African American community and it being a direct legacy of soul food. So we kind of started looking at soul food and wondering why or how that sort of that type of food, that cuisine came about. And again, it's from it has a colonialist history. It was them really making do with the worst dregs that they were left with in terms of the sort of foods that were available to them. And so they made the best of a bad situation in those days. But these things have obviously improved and changed and become part of a culture. And I don't want to speak on behalf of that community. Obviously, I'm not from that community, but this is my understanding of it. So that's what got us interested into it. And as we were working on these issues more, I wanted to find out more about these impositions. So Christopher Eubanks gave us his perspective. We're working with Dr. Yamini Narayanan, who is Indian by birth, lives in Australia now, teaches, who's a lecturer. And she has a really interesting perspective on milk and in India, which is obviously very deeply entrenched in culture and religion, but is also a very social thing as well, and connected to colonialism and the Brits, the English invading. And so we also looked at Paulo, who lives in, I think he lives in Spain at the moment, but he's Mapuche by birth, by history, by tradition rather. So those are the indigenous people of what is now Chile. And he gives his perspective too. So we're kind of talking to all of these people, and we're going to be bringing those together in one film just to start looking at those connections back to that colonialist past and how it affects the current, the here and now.
Yeah, so it's fascinating. I mean, we need to be hearing from all these voices, don't we? And I definitely sort of need to look into getting some of these guys on the podcast. I think it'd be great to hear from them.
Absolutely. Do you know, the more I learn, the less I know. I didn't know all of this stuff, and now I'm getting a little bit of information and understanding a little bit. You realize how blind and how deaf, how ignorant we have been as a movement for so very long. And maybe it's not our fault. We've started as a small movement. We've started to do what we can with limited resources. I've been vegan 30 years and things have grown massively in that time. But back then, having any conversation about veganism was difficult. So it's improving. But I do think we're at that point now where our movement is ready to open up and stop being quite so tunnel vision and really start talking and reaching out across to different social justice movements and sharing what we share and exchanging information and understanding one another's work and then uniting, because only then, goodness, we're going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, definitely. Something that struck me with Chris Eubanks' video on your Instagram page was that he kind of compares the oppression of animals with the oppression of different minority groups, which is something I think people are often quite scared to do, aren't they? I know I've spoken to quite a few people in the past on the podcast, and it's not something anyone wants to sort of make a comparison with, but he does.
Yeah, I think it's different making a comparison now. I don't think it's right to perhaps compare the sufferings and oppressions of animals with people now. What we can do is look at where those oppressions have come from, and we find in almost all cases, possibly all cases, they come from a very same place. They come from this idea connected to colonialism that there is a hierarchy of worth, that I am better than you because of the color of my skin or because of my sex or my race or my gender or whatever. And you find this all through history, not just across cultures, but within cultures too. So, for example, in Sweden, there was a categorization of races as they saw them within Sweden, where typically the tall blonde people were top of the tree, and the people who lived in the north, who were smaller and darker skinned, were bottom. And you see that all through society, through human society, and when we sort of add animals into the equation too, that we couldn't do what we do to animals if we didn't think of them as lesser, and within animals there is a hierarchy too. So dogs are higher than chickens, who are probably higher than rats. And so we have this idea that, well, I can do what I want to do because I'm stronger, better, but that's just bullying in common words. That's, if you're stronger than somebody and you feel that you can oppress or harm them, that's the very thing we teach children not to do. And yet our whole system of our way of thinking our cultures are really based on this idea. So when you see it in that broad context, all of these social justice movements have that same root. Women had to fight for rights and are still fighting for rights because they're seen as lesser. So it's everywhere, it's rife. So I think that's where it comes from. It's not that we compare experiences today, but we understand that they are connected at a root level.
Yeah, I spoke to Dr. Melanie Joy, who has obviously written, various books on the subject of carnism, and it's sort of all about just how society has normalized things. Like you say, eating a cow, normal. Eating a dog, not normal.
Not normal in our culture.
Well, not normal in Western culture, no. So I think it's all about breaking those things down. So you also spoke to the vegan queens, who are great fun, and they were talking about speciesism and homophobia. Can you tell us about that one?
Yeah, so that's, again, a very similar thing. We're working across, let's say, multiple different social justice movements. Actually, one of the things we're doing, which is really exciting, I'd like to talk about, is talking to disabled vegans and their experiences. But yeah, we've also talked to the vegan queens, who are not only hilarious, but they say things in a way that I wish I could say. They're so eloquent and thoughtful and thought-provoking. It's not surprising to me that every time we feature them, they take off, and they just empower people. They're so warm and engaging, and they say it in such a simple way that you start to see, and it's what I was saying before about othering and how they have felt othered. They have felt that they were less than, or told they were less than, by sections of society. And you internalize that and you feel less than. And so you kind of almost buy into your own oppression. And it's a really exciting time, I think, at the moment, where people are saying, well, actually, I've kind of had enough of that. I don't think I'm less than you. In fact, I know I'm not less than you. So how about we just equal all of this out and start from the same base? And I think that what they're doing is incredible, and they are certainly incredible advocates for veganism within the LGBTQI plus community. And yeah, we're delighted they're on our side.
Yeah, brilliant. So what can we do as individuals to ensure that veganism is more representative, do you think?
As individuals or as organisations and representatives, it's probably quite different. I think as individuals, what we can do is that really annoying phrase that people say about doing the work. And I used to think it was annoying, but actually that's before I did the work. And you kind of do need to do it. So I was pushed by work to read a book by Sunaura Taylor, and I wouldn't have read it otherwise. And to my shame, I wouldn't have read it otherwise, but I do think everybody should read it. And it looks at the connection of disability, ableism and speciesism, and Sunaura lives as a disabled vegan. So that talked about the issues and perspectives, and it again really opened my mind to us not being open and inclusive. So as individuals, what I'd say is read, look online, actually Generation Vegan is a great place to begin, because we are going to be featuring an awful lot of films and blogs on these issues, so people can start to dip their toe in a little bit, get used to the language, get used to sort of speaking and thinking differently. And I think they're fairly simple things. I don't really believe we should be trying to adopt language. I kind of feel like we should go deeper. You should try and understand the issues, because once you understand them and you accept them and you understand kind of what's being said, the language kind of comes naturally. You don't start with the language, you start with the belief. So that's what I would suggest people do. Read books by Sunaura Taylor, watch The Vegan Queens, read Chris Eubanks's blogs and watch his videos, and just start to sort of understand how these oppressions work together, and then reach out. Don't be talking to our bubble. Don't be talking just to, I think vegans as a movement, we think if we reach out to the environmentalists, we've reached across a divide, and we have. Yeah. That's important, but it's much broader than that. And we have been guilty, I think, as a movement, of excluding sections of society for too long, and not intentionally, but I think we have been doing it all the same.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, I'll look up those books and have a read, and I'll obviously link to in our show notes for anyone listening. What are the vegan challenges then that you've got on offer?
Yeah, so we've relaunched our vegan challenges. We used to do what lots of people, lots of groups did, which is offer a month-long challenge. But it didn't really add very much to it if we did it and someone else did it and 10,000 other people did it. So we wanted to make it different. And because we are I guess, much more about talking about these interconnected issues. We knew we wanted to do something that was a bit deeper, not just, here's a great milk, McDonald's does a burger now, off you go, have a great time, connect with us on social. We really wanted to, I think if becoming vegan isn't easy, it's a big transition in your life, and there's a lot to unpick and a lot to change and a lot of reworking of your thought processes, and lots comes into it. And I really believe that if you know your why, you're much more likely to stay vegan. If you just give it a crack, you may or may not. But if you really understand the power of dietary change and what it does out in the world, what those ripples do out in the world, you're much more likely to be positive about it and committed to it. And so we're trying something that's a bit different in that we're really going into more detail with each of our daily emails. And we have 5 challenges to choose from. There are 4 7-day challenges, and you can pick the subject that resonates most with you. So if you really care about human social justice issues, then you sign up for the Humanity Challenge. If environment is your priority, then you sign up for the environmental one, and then animals and health as well. So whatever is your most motivating factor, you can start there. But then, of course, we don't expect you necessarily to end there. We hopefully take you through those issues. We give you all the information you need. We show you loads of great films and loads of great content and give you lots of food for thought, for want of a better phrase. And we hope then that will start you thinking and learning and feeling more committed to it, because you really do understand the power of it. So that's what we're trying to do. I hope it works. We've only just launched them, so we'll see how that works.
Yeah, well, we all, anyone who's listening who's already vegan, who might not, necessarily sign up for the challenges, can definitely share it with friends and family. But it sounds like there's still things to be learned, even if you are already vegan. The social justice side of things is something that I think hasn't been so much a part of the conversation, has it? We've obviously heard a lot, in recent years about health and the animals and the planet side of things. So that'd be a good one, definitely, to sign up.
I think so. Yeah, you're right. I think we're always learning, aren't we? I mean, we should be. I think this is maybe part of the problem is, you feel if you've learnt your stats on animal ag and you understand about climate breakdown, then you think you've got it. But, there's so much to learn and so many more ways to achieve a vegan world. That's what we're all aiming for. So we don't criticize other people's routes to it. We don't know what's going to get us there, but we feel our contribution can be this, to try and be inclusive, to reach out, to unite as much as we can, or at least play a part in that and get this groundswell of change. So that's what we're trying to do.
Brilliant. It's been so great chatting to you, Kate.
Bye.
So the website is genv.com, is that right?
genv.org.
Okay, so everyone head over there and also follow you on social media, which is Generation Vegan. We have various languages from various parts of the world, so wherever people are, whatever language they speak, hopefully we've got something that works and is suitable for them. Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, make sure you share it with a friend, leave us a review, or send us some feedback. We can only keep going with the help of our lovely listeners. We're back next Thursday, but in the meantime, head to veganfoodliving.com, sign up to our newsletters for all the latest podcast news.